What do you think is attributed to the dysfunction amongst black male and female relationships, Kim? Does feminism or the manosphere play any role at all?
I think that the manosphere is a bigger issue in Black relationships than feminism. I think Black men's primary issue in relationships is economic. And they resent the fact that they don't have the economic power to exert authority in the home, and they take that frustration out on Black women.
The resurgence of men wearing skirts is causing the black community into an uproar. And if it's one thing the black community is going to do, is show just how deep the indoctrination and the trauma is. We black people are the only people giving these little boys hell about them wearing skirts when skirts was literally meant for grown men in the first place. See, and this is another reason why the powers that be want to keep us uneducated, because it allows them to spread the traditional bigotry for them without them having to say a word. Us as black people, we look at men in skirts differently because our history of the emasculating black man. See, what others don't realize is that trauma is carried through DNA. And so black people, especially descendants of slaves, African Americans, we have a history where our slave owners would the most masculine or big buff mandingo to sort of emasculate them in front of the masses. And so that trauma has been carried on from century to century to century. And now we're at the point where men can't even explore anything outside of the illusion of masculinity without getting hate from their own community. You understand what I'm saying? Black men can wear a skirt and it's, oh, sissy, oh, the world is lost, oh, etc., etc. The white man does it, it's, oh my God, breaking societal norms, breaking gender norms. Young Thug wore a dress years before Harry Styles, and he got hate mainly from the black community. Then Harry Styles wears a dress and he gets the cover of Vogue. Do you see the issue?
Do I see an issue? In the black community, actually, I see two issues demonstrated in these juxtaposing videos. In the beginning, we have a staunch black feminist who is essentially saying that black men have not made enough money to be respected as patriarchs. Therefore, you have no right to want what your grandfathers wanted. You should settle for whatever the definition of family is today. Take it with a smile and deal with it, because otherwise you're asking too much as a lowly man. And on the other end, we see this new evolving definition of what friendly, acceptable masculinity is, with these black men arguing about, hey, we should wear skirts now.
Granddad, this ain't no purse. It's a gangsta-licious man bag. What's wrong?
Nothing. No.
For some people, their favorite time of the year is the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's, where they get together with their families and they go to parties. For others, it's the changing of the seasons, spring and the flowers, or fall and the leaves falling and getting ready for the holiday season. For others, it's summer because they get to play in the pool and all of that stuff. My favorite time of the year is summer Koshin, the National High School Baseball Tournament, where basically every high school baseball team in the country plays until you have one winner. And the top 50 some odd teams go to Osaka and play in a tournament that's on national TV. I like the tournament for several reasons. One, it's been playing since 1915. It is a 110-year-old tournament. They have been doing it every year the same way, consistently, for 110 years. I respect that thoroughly because it is a practice in consistency. But the other reason I like the tournament is because these young boys, young men, understand what partnership, what being a teammate truly means. And when you watch this kind of tournament, you cannot help but question the true meaning of a word like partner, someone that has your back. If you are a fan of baseball, you understand how important it is to pay attention to detail, something that you get to watch every single baseball game when you're watching the summer tournament. And it is the smallest things that make all the difference, like this. The team with the turquoise leggings, Yamanashi Gakuin, eventually won this game 6-2, and it's because of the attention they paid to detail and how well they worked with each other. After a deep fly ball to left field, a runner from first base had a chance to score, but he was held even though they made a mistake on this particular play, and the ball rolled by the cutoff man, number 4. If this is where American baseball, it's very likely that number 4 would be charged with an error, and then on all the sports highlight shows, everyone would be saying how his play was the reason why they lost the game. But in this particular play, number 5 demonstrates what a partner is, what a teammate is, having someone in your corner. He backed up number 4 to make sure that the ball got caught, because it was more important for the ball to get caught and to hold the runner than to point blame at someone. That, in my opinion, is what a partner is. You see why I love Koshian?
The manosphere is a bigger issue in Black relationships than feminism. I think Black men's primary issue in relationships is economic. And they resent the fact that they don't have the economic power to exert authority in the home. And they take that frustration out on Black women.
So y'all heard that. The Black manosphere is a bigger concern. Black men don't have the economic power to essentially rule their homes, and they take that frustration out on Black women. This is a very old, tired trope. We've been hearing this for decades. White feminists want to hear this from Black women, from Black feminists. Black feminists, such as, I gotta say her name today, Kim Foster. Kim Foster will serve up to white women the Black man boogeyman stories.
A fair question would be, what does baseball have to do with what we're hearing Mr. Z talk about? Well, when you start talking about partnership and changing roles, you have to define what the new roles are. And in this environment where you can see a growing number of Black men moving Republican, mainly one of the reasons why that's happening is because we don't really know what the rules are anymore. The rules have gotten all muddled up, and it's kind of just playing by feel. And for guys that want to get something more concrete, you're going to start looking for answers.
And let's see if her issue is truly advocacy for Black women, women in aggregate, Black women specifically in America, or is she being informed and fueled and encouraged by something else? Is something else really what's informing her opinions and her ideas about how to help men transition into a modern world where they can no longer be quote unquote patriarchs? Now y'all listen close.
There's a skills mismatch, and it's nice and kind of heartwarming to hear the young man who said he didn't want to be a nurse because he doesn't like to talk to people also say being a man is who you can provide for, who you can take care of. His dream is to make enough money so that his fiance doesn't have to work, but that's not the world we live in. And that's the other thing about the reimagining of roles. The role that these young men have in their head is traditional old school patriarch. That's, you need to find a partner. You're not going to be able to be a patriarch. You need a partner. You need to go 50-50. You need to split the mortgage. But do they want a partner?
So yeah, she said it's smug.
No.
There you go.
I don't want to put too much on it. I don't know.
To every single Black talking head in America, you damn right we ain't doing partner if partner is Kim Foster. If partner is Kim Foster, you damn right we not doing partner. You could push Z off of the edge of the cliff. Stop the world, let me off right here.
You can hear a frustration in Mr. Z, and it's a frustration that's mirrored by a lot of men in the dating pool, because when you use the word partner, what does that word mean? Does that mean if I have your back, then you have my back? Or does that just mean that I have to do all of the old roles and I have to change who I am, but you get to do whatever you want? Because that's kind of sort of the way it looks for the modern dating pool.
3 tiny acts of feminism you can do right now.
Don't move over for a man on the sidewalk.
Right.
Statistically speaking, men don't move out of the way and women do.
Remove sorry from your vocabulary unless you are at fault or apologizing for something. Sorry to bother you, or sorry, I just had a question. No.
Obviously, don't do anything you're not comfortable with. But man spread on public transportation.
Take up space.
Take up space,
Do it.
lady.
Be real with me.
Women should emasculate men on the first date.
Real. Why?
This one time I called a guy, I was like, hey ladies, and he was like with a bunch of his friends. He did not react to that well. From that day on, I learned that even if he's cute, sometimes men have a hard time aligning with sexism.
What does the vibe check look like? Emasculate me.
Hey, how are you?
It's not a loneliness epidemic. It is a subsection of men who are choosing extinction over evolution. Species that don't adapt die off. Members of species that don't adapt die off. And women have progressed. We have evolved. We have set a new standard for our expectation in the society in which we live. And the men who are stomping their feet and saying, no, I don't want to, are not even getting left behind. They're choosing not to step forward with us. Women are asking for emotional fluency, collaboration instead of control, protection without the need for domination, and enough security in your manhood to say that women can also lead. Feminism is not a threat. It is an invitation. It is an open-handed invitation to evolve, to grow, and to step forward with women into the next generation.
The last young lady said that she wanted 4 things specifically from a mate, a partner. She says she wants emotional fluency, which I guess is being able to talk openly about emotional things going on in the relationship, but also not doing so much that it's called man-keeping and it's a burden on her, because many of these young ladies are worried about the extra work of trying to emotionally upkeep a man's feelings, I guess, because that's a lot of work. She wants collaboration, not control, which is fair enough. If you can find a way to peacefully swap who's going to do what and when and not have a lot of fighting about it, protection, not domination, fair enough. Security to let women lead, okay, fine. Let's look at an example of modern day collaboration, shall we?
I'm genuinely nervous that this is going to sound like I'm such a controlling or mean wife, but I will share it anyways. Something that we had decided early on in marriage is that you every morning would clean the kitchen, unload the dishwasher, load any dishes that needed to be loaded, mostly because you were getting up earlier than me, but then you leave the cutting boards in the sink because you don't want to wash them by hand. It had bothered me for a long time. Then yesterday morning, actually, we had to leave and we were running late and I was trying to make breakfast and I needed a cutting board and they were all dirty. And I just felt so almost like betrayed. That's the feeling that I felt, which is so silly. You were going to do the dishes and now we're running late. I have to make breakfast. Like, I don't have time. And also now I have to wash these cutting boards.
When you use a word like partner or teammate, there's an implied meaning that you both have a common goal. If you're teammates, you're both trying to win the game. It's not important that you end the game without saying it's my fault. It's that we do what's necessary to win the game. And in their particular case, winning the game would be keeping their family together. But if she thinks that winning the game is you make sure that you wash that cutting board no matter if you're late to work or not, no matter what happened at your job yesterday or not, no matter if you're sick or not, I care about the cutting board, then that's not very much of a team. That's just, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to just not be happy and I might blow the whole family up. Not much of a teammate, is it?
Now I have to wash these cutting boards. I was washing them in the right side of the sink, and on the left side of the sink is like that little strainer thing at the bottom of the sink to catch any food. And you grabbed it and dumped it over the cutting board that I was just rinsing off after I'd already washed it. This fell all over the cutting board, and then I had to rewash it, and I just lost it.
The script for men really changed. Maybe being the household provider is not their main thing anymore, but they haven't been given a new script. They didn't feel like there was, a new way that they could contribute to society being offered here.
So the expectations that these young men have are the same as previous generations, but the reality is different.
The first thing that came to mind when I heard that clip was, whose responsibility is it to create new expectations for men?
If you've ever been on a really good sports team, the first thing the coach will tell you is that one person's fault is everyone's fault. And so you learn as a position player that I have my responsibilities, but there are also times where I have to help someone else or back them up, because if they make a mistake or if they stumble, they're going to need someone to back them up, because if he makes a mistake, it affects me. And in the dating process, we've been told that the old rules of patriarchy and all of that were oppressive and that young ladies want more freedom and more say-so in the house, which is fine. But then when you rip those rules up, you have to install new rules. You have to tell guys the new rules. And when you hear a conversation like this one, where essentially you're being told, well, it's not my job to tell you what the new rules are, it's your job to figure out the rules. Even though we ripped up the old rules, it just gets really complicated.
It seems to me,
listen,
like,
and pay attention. Look at her face. Look at her face.
The men's responsibility to do that. So what?
Look at the smug.
Sorry.
Listen.
Okay, I'm trying to suppress my misandry, but
suppress the misandry.
Something's
Yeah,
happening.
You heard right.
The process of identity formation, the keeping up with the times, the evolution, the social interaction and engagement that would allow you to bob and weave and evolve and shapeshift, it's going wrong. I have questions about what are the conversations inside of the home. The reason why I'm asking about whose responsibility is it to help young men construct new identities and navigate these new paradigms, I am always worried that it's going to become women's work. And
hiding behind feminism.
Negatively to the end of this episode, because at the end, when they're asking, do you understand them? They made it women's work. Yeah, women are empathetic. Women want to work with men. They do. Women see men as members of their communities.
I'm not working with a woman like this.
Our sons, brothers,
I'm not working with a woman like this.
Whatever. But that kind of care, and it's a burden, particularly when we are talking about these women who are working and have professions and have their own lives, and a couple of them said they have partners, and then you have to think about, Misinterest Kim is coming out. Let's go to another clip.
Y'all heard her. Misandrist Kim was coming out.
When we have a conversation about the modern, quote unquote, evolved man, what we have to remember is that one of the reasons why you're seeing a push back to the right for so many men is because you don't have any explanation as to any other direction to go to. If you're telling guys that essentially if you want to be respected as a man, even though the world around you is calling you males, you're supposed to pay all the bills like you did before, but you need to be emotionally available, and also you need to wash dishes and cook, and you need to wash the cutting board before you go to work, and then your son is walking in, he's wearing a dress, and your wife is saying, hey, it's okay, guys wear dresses now. It's fine if those are the rules at the beginning of the game, because a guy can say, these are the rules, I want to play or I don't want to play. But what you can't do is throw all of the old rules in the air and say, okay, you're supposed to be an evolved modern man now, figure it out. Because guys are just going to say, you know what, in another month, it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 6, and I'll just play that. Because the modern evolved man that's wearing skirts and waking up early to wash dishes before he goes to work and then come home and he's expected to pay all of the bills at the house, and the young lady he's with has a career, but she's not really going to back him up because that's a extra burden of emotional labor that she just doesn't want to take on. It's not much of a team. And when you say the word partner, it elicits the idea of team. And if men can't get a wife and you can't get a teammate that's going to back you up, something that most people that played sports knows exactly what it means, then it's just not a game that a man wants to play. And if the evolved man gets left out, then more and more guys are just saying, so be it, because you're going to lose anyway the day that she wakes up to say, you know what, you're not evolved enough for me anyways, and I'm doing too much labor, so I'm leaving because you're toxic. Because that's just where we started from in the first place, isn't it? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you next video. Take care.